Hey guys, welcome to 12 Tone. Today we're going to talk about odd meter. We've talked about odd accents before, and this just takes that idea one step further. Whereas with odd accents, we're taking a normal time signature and breaking it up in unusual ways, in odd meter we just use a time signature that can't be broken up evenly in the first place. But what does that mean? Well, let's talk about how we process rhythm. Broadly speaking, it all comes down to subdivisions. We can't process the entire song at once, so we break it into smaller sections, which we then break up again and again until we get down to our smallest rhythmic units. And this happens automatically. If you listen to a metronome for long enough, your brain will start to identify strong and weak beats even though the sound is identical each time. This is fundamentally where meter comes from. It's a way of breaking down the rhythms we hear into more manageable pieces. And as it turns out, the groups we make are pretty small, usually only 2, 3, or maybe 4 notes. Beyond that, you're just going to start inserting accents in the middle anyway. Then we take 2 or 3 of those groups to make a bigger group, and so on all the way up. And up till now, every time signature we've talked about has been able to split into even amounts. For instance, in 4/4, the bar breaks into 2 half notes, which each break into 2 quarter notes, which break into 2 eighths, and so on. In 6/8, the bar breaks into 2 dotted quarters, which break into 3 eighths each, and then we go back to 2s. But what if we couldn't do that? What if the number of beats wasn't evenly divisible by 2 or 3? The simplest example is 5. In 5/4, we have 5 quarter notes per bar. We can do that as 2 quarter notes, then 3, or 3 then 2. But either way, it feels lopsided. One group is always going to be bigger than the other. Another popular odd meter is 7/8. 7/8 can be thought of as 4/4 with the last eighth note missing, or as 6/8 with an extra one added. There's also 9/8, which is either 4/4 with an extra eighth note, or 3/4 with a triplet feel. Now, whether or not 9/8 is odd meter at all is up for debate. As we just saw, it breaks up perfectly fine into 3 groups of 3. And honestly, I don't really think of it as odd meter, but a lot of people count it, and I don't have anywhere else to talk about it, so there you go. Most of the time, this is going to be the extent of your odd meter experience. Even in fairly advanced compositions, 5/4, 7/8, and 9/8 tend to be good enough. But they don't have to be. There's no rule that says we have to stop there. More complex time signatures are popular in prog rock, 20th century classical music, and for some reason Balkan folk music. Do you want to write in 17/16? Go ahead. 13/8? Fine. In fact, much like harmony, once you start doing complicated things, you have a lot more room to do even more. You may scare a few listeners off at the beginning, but the ones who stick with you will be primed to accept all sorts of crazy metric variations. They'll adapt to the rhythms you're showing them, and once they have, transitioning to new time signatures can be shockingly smooth. If you're going crazy enough, you might even find yourself at a point where switching back to something simple like 4/4 would sound jarring, which is absolutely hilarious if you can pull it off. If you are going to use really advanced time signatures though, you might want to use a notation known as additive meter. Instead of writing, say, 19/16, which is basically meaningless, you'd break that into more coherent chunks like, say, 5 + 5 + 5 + 4. This gives your players some indication of where the accents lie. It also gives you finer control, letting you tell the players exactly what you want. This sort of thing should only be used in really advanced pieces though, and you need excellent players to pull it off. Or just players from the Balkans. And that's odd meter. Try the exercises, join our mailing list for scans of all our episodes, and keep on rockin'.